This week, I'm going to be giving you 4 things to keep in mind while approaching your next co-writing session. Hi, I'm Georgann Ireland, back at you with some big music energy. Here at Big Music Energy, we're trying to be the people we needed when we were first starting out. Make sure you like and subscribe. We put out new content every Friday. Co-writing is great because it has the potential to elevate your songwriting as well as your career. Stay with me through the end of this video and find out just what I'm talking about. Let's dive right into it. Want to co-write but can't because of the COVID quarantine? Don't worry. Co-writing takes many different forms. Traditionally, people think of co-writing as 2 or more people in a room together working on a song. But it's 2020. There are many ways we can co-write together without being in the same room. I'm talking Skype, FaceTime, Google Hangouts. I think those are the main ones. I'm sure there's more. These are all ways that you can work in real time with people and write a song together. Even before this whole quarantine, Ed would co-write with people remotely. In fact, Ed and I have even fallen right into it. It's totally doable. Online video chatting is a great way to work on songs together in real time without actually having to be there in person. Another way you can co-write without being in person is sharing audio files back and forth between you and more people. This is actually the one that I use more often than not. The audio files that you are sharing don't even have to be perfect. Using the voice memo app on my own phone, that's what I use all the time to co-write with people. I just record a guitar, a scratch vocal, maybe the lyrics are there. I use filler lyrics a lot, and then I send it off. Oftentimes people will either just write back with lyric suggestions, or sometimes you'll even get an audio file back from them. But these are great ways that you can collaborate with people without actually having to be face-to-face. Think about it. You can now co-write with people all over the world. The thing that I really like about writing with voice memos is that I get to write alone without having the pressure of having anyone else in the room with me or having just the presence of someone else be a distraction. I really get to write in whatever emotional state I'm in. Whatever I'm really trying to say, I really can write that emotion into my song using those voice memos, and then I can send it off and get critical feedback without having to have had that critical feedback while I was still trying to play with what I call the muse. Because you never want to start asking for critical feedback until the muse has really played itself out. That can be a whole episode in itself. So let me know in the comments if you want a video on when to know when you're done playing with the muse and it's time to get critical with your songs. On to my second tip. Writing credits are really important because that's where your royalties come from. So you need to know going in what the songwriting split is going to be. If you're starting from scratch with someone, the default is splitting it equally, but that doesn't always have to be the case. Sometimes people come in and they have an almost finished song and they're just looking for a co-writer to come in and help them with a few extra lines. In that case, you really need to come up with how you're going to be splitting those writing credits early on. You don't want someone to come in to a song that you've basically written all by yourself. They change one line, and because you didn't sign any contracts, they now get 50% of the writing credits. And I'm sure you don't want to go to court over the matter. Leave a comment if you want a video on the different types of contracts that you should sign before moving forward on any sort of project. One thing I want to add when people come with unfinished songs and why it's really important to sign these contracts and know what this writing split is going to be ahead of time is that sometimes you might not technically ever write a line in that song, but your mere presence in the room with that other songwriter is affecting them. And just bouncing ideas off each other creates a situation where if that person writes all the remaining lines in their unfinished song, you still deserve a piece of that song. So you need to have those contracts signed ahead of time because you don't need that person saying, I wrote everything. And yeah, they technically might have written those lines, but your presence and your contribution was just input. And you deserve a piece of the writing credit if that's the situation you find yourself in. So do yourself a favor and make sure you sign some contracts and have those writing credits figured out ahead of time. The third thing I want to tell you to really keep in mind when co-writing with people, be honest with yourself about when it's working and when it's not. We all have different writing styles. And sometimes when we come together with people, we get something great. Think of John Lennon and Paul McCartney. Think of Simon and Garfunkel. These were songwriters that when they came together, they just created magic. But that's not always the case for people. Sometimes you come together and your styles just don't fit. And that's okay. okay. No harm, no foul. People aren't insulted and people are not offended when it's just not working. You just have to be honest and say, you know, I just don't write songs this way. We want our co-writing partners to make our songs sound better than anything we could have come up with on our own. We want them to bring out the best in us. Now, if you work best writing alone, that's okay. To be honest, I write most of my songs by myself. I do seek critical feedback. Always seek critical feedback on your songs. But sometimes you're just more connected with the song that you're trying to write when you don't have other people in the room. But if that's you, co-writing is still an important thing that you should be doing because in this industry, it's one of the best forms of networking. Co-writing is a great way to maintain relationships. It's basically this industry's form of golfing. You know how they always say that business deals are made on the golf course? Well, let me tell you, a lot of deals can be made co-writing and a lot of future projects could come because of a co-writing session you have with someone. And again, if you're not a good fit with each other, that's still okay. No hard feelings. If they like you as a person, they might connect you with someone who will work really well with you and will work with your style. Or if they're a producer, they might keep you in mind for when they have an artist that does something in your style of music. I talked about networking in last week's video, so if you haven't seen it yet, make sure you check out the link. So with that, those are the 4 things you should keep in mind while approaching your next co-writing session. And hopefully I haven't scared you off. Have fun. Honestly, that's the biggest thing that I could tell you to do is go out, co-write with people, have fun. It should be a fun experience when you co-write with people. That's when we're really building those valuable relationships because we're just having fun, being natural, being ourselves. It's honestly a great way to put your best foot forward and to be the most authentic version of yourself. And then you get this amazing product as a result of it. Go find your next co-writing partner in the comments. I would love to see a thread of that. Please do it. If you find someone in the comments, you guys write a song, tell me about it. That would be amazing. I would love that. Or if you have questions, let me know. So go out there, go find your next co-writing partner, and then, you guessed it, go write the next big hit.